My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now.
Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to America. I'll be one of my friends just trying to make you some money. My job is not just to entertain you, but to educate and teach you. So call me at 1-800-743-CNBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. You might not know from the final tally, with the Dow only gaining 47 points, S&P slipping 0.13%, and the Nasdaq declining 0.23%, but this was a tumultuous session! Filled with chaotic moves. We were driven back and forth by over-exuberance.
House of pleasure.
For the soon-to-be-approved vaccine, fear of ever-spiking COVID cases, and confusion about the possibility of government stimulus.
The House of Pain.
It's almost as if there are no rules anymore, right? And as my friend David Tepper, the legendary investor and hedge fund manager and all those other things, who happened to be my teacher at Goldman Sachs, says, it's all about short-term holdings. As he told me this morning right before Squawk on the Street, and I quote, there are stocks to own and stocks to rent. Some are very short-term rentals, more like a by-the-hour hotel. You can have a lot of fun for a short time, he said, but please don't overstay your welcome. You know what? I think that is really sage advice. It's probably the smartest thing I've heard this week. Okay, month. And it's a good place to start our game plan for next week. Now, last Friday I said that we could be in a world of hurt if we don't get another stimulus bill. Well, the stimulus didn't happen, and the week was pretty rough, unless you got in on the ground floor of the DoorDash or Airbnb IPOs. Now, though, the market's ratcheted back its expectations. So if we do actually get a stimulus compromise next week, stocks could come roaring back. That said, most of us have started giving up on Washington. The Democrats want to hold out for a more generous deal. The Republicans seem to think that the economy will be just fine without one, despite another wave of unemployment to match the latest wave of the outbreak. Either way, our political system punishes compromise, doesn't it? Instead, we have a new hope, though. The FDA approving the first COVID vaccine from Pfizer. This is a market that reacts positively to the obvious. So get ready, because this thing is almost certain to be approved, whether it happens tonight or maybe over the weekend. Then the chaos will begin as each state tries to figure out who should get vaccinated first. We have another bit of drug news on Monday. One of my absolute favorite companies, AbbVie, is holding a meeting to talk about its immunology franchise that's been keeping a lid on the stock because their biggest drug, Humira, loses patent protection in the not-too-distant future. If AbbVie can present some good numbers for its newer drugs that could replace Humira, that will take the pressure off that drug and the company. And I think the stock could soar. It's got one of the best yields of the whole group, and it's got a lot of growth. Next up, you know I'm a big believer in the humanization of pets theme. I told you to buy that Chewy with both hands after we spoke to the CEO earlier this week. And the stock just hit a new all-time high today, up $7.85. But on Tuesday, we have an analyst meeting for the only pet care company with a stock that's been a complete dud, and that's Elanco. This is a veterinary medicine play, and if CEO Jeff Simmons has anything newsworthy, the stock could play catch-up. Wednesday, we've got two good ones. We've got Lennar, large national home builder, good company, and Herman Miller, that's that office furniture play. I bet they're going to both have terrific numbers. The question, will it even matter? Well, people assume Lennar's only doing well because the pandemic has caused people to flee from the cities to the suburbs. So with a vaccine on the way, is that trade over? Was it just a trade all along? Herman Miller's the same issue. Can they keep selling all these fancy Aeron chairs after the pandemic ends and people don't need to set up so many home offices? Now, we know Toll Brothers reported a very good quarter this week, and its stock just got crushed. I think it was a big mistake, but it did. So unless Lennar and Herman Miller sell off hard going into the results, I suggest you take a pass. Now, you're going to hear too much chatter about how these are the last good quarters, or maybe the penultimate good quarters, or that usual nonsense that makes people feel like, you know what, I've had enough. I think that's wrong. The home builders will do just fine after we beat COVID because interest rates are incredibly low, which always spurs demand for new homes. If there's one flaw in my thesis, though, it's that the Federal Reserve could potentially raise interest rates. Again, I think very unlikely. But we're going to get a reality check when Fed Chief Jerome Powell speaks about the state of the economy next Wednesday. So that means, look, if Lennar really gets hammered, I'm kind of interested. Herman Miller did have an upside surprise last time, so the stock is jacked up. Anyway, Thursday's big. We start with Accenture, the information technology outsourcer and consultant, with a stock that tends to get hit on earnings. time after time, though, that's been a terrific entry point. Be careful. When you hit up ACN, the symbol, when you type it, spell check always makes it CAN. Completely confuses you. Got to fix that. Then there's General Mills. The market sure didn't like the numbers from Campbell's Soup, but I bet General Mills will be better received. Watch their pet food business. That's that Blue Buffalo. We know that category is on fire. Baking's back, by the way, but it's possible everyone will conclude that the packaged food plays will lose some of their coveted shine once we get a vaccine. Remember, they're vaccine losers in a world where we got a lot of vaccine winners. Hey, including Disney. You see that today? Whoa, what a day. Now, we could also get some good news about Moderna. When an FDA panel meets to consider their vaccine candidate, I guess you should call it. Do you know that they're ready to ship 20 million doses by the end of the month, then another 80 million in the first quarter of next year? We learned tonight that the U.S. government exercised an option to buy another 100 million doses for the second quarter. I'm telling you, I said we are going to have a vaccine glut by the end of the first quarter. Speaking of vaccines, Rite Aid, symbol RAD, reports Thursday morning, followed by the FedEx after the close. We know that RAD will be one of the main distributors of the vaccine, along with CVS and Walgreens. We also know that FedEx will be shipping this thing all over the place. However, it's not much of a needle mover. That's bad news for Rite Aid because they're being beaten by CVS and Walgreens, with, of course, Amazon on the way. But it's good news for FedEx with its thriving e-commerce business, although the stock has moved so much. I don't know how much it can run if they don't say great things. Hey, then there's J-Bill. Listen to this one, okay? This is a contract manufacturer for a host of different industries, do a lot of healthcare, too, with a big chunk of Apple business. People will try to extrapolate the success of the iPhone 12 from J-Bill, but it's a torturous affair because they're not allowed to mention the word Apple by name. Still, the analysts will figure it out, and they're going to update their forecasts on Friday. Remember, J-Bill's got a lot of the 12. Could be very important. Finally, we've got two biggies on Friday, Darden and Nike. Now, New York City just banned indoor dining, and I think a lot of the country's going to follow that. That could be terrible for Darden's restaurants, including Olive Garden, at least in the short term. Longer term, though, get this. Darden can survive until we reopen, which means it's a last man standing situation, so you can raise numbers in the back half of next year. I expect them to say good things, but it might not matter at this point, especially since the stock's already run. A great deal from when they slashed the dividend. All right. I just boosted it. Best for last, Nike. I expect Nike should report a fabulous number because all of its physical stores markets are coming back hard, and its direct-to-consumer business is on fire. I would be shocked if Nike doesn't crush the estimates. The analysts have been recommending it endlessly this week, and they don't do that unless they have a pretty good read on the quarter. I really like the company. John Donner, would you mind calling me on the day you report? It's starting to bum me out. Anyway, it's me to John. Sorry, I invited you, all you other people, too. The bottom line, if you want to speculate, this is the time to do it. Just speculate wisely. Got my blessing to buy a bunch of stocks in the weakness as we move closer to the long-awaited vaccine, even if the much-needed stimulus bill remains up in the air. Take questions. Bruce in New Jersey. Bruce.
Booyah, Jim from Atlantic City. Hey, I love your show.
All right, man. Are you on Boardwalk or are you on Park Place?
Park Place right now.
Okay, good. You're green. That's a lot. That's a lot of money.
That's right. My question is about Marriott International. They partnered with Grab in Southeast Asia and started an Airbnb-type service. The stock has gone up around 25 points. Now that vaccine is in reach, do you see it going up to pre-COVID levels or even higher?
I think it will. I think that it's a well-run company. And let me tell you why, Bruce. And this is a great question. A lot of hotel chains went under or have had to pull back, but Marriott had the best balance sheet. And you know what that means? That means Arnie Sorensen wins, which is good because he's one of the good guys. How about we take Teresa in North Carolina? Teresa.
Hello, Jim. Thanks so much for taking my question.
No problemo.
I bought Rite Aid a little while ago, and since November 1st, the stocks have more than doubled. So with the earnings report coming out next week, and with CEO Miss Donegan, a digital health executive, being at the helm, do you believe Rite Aid is being transformed?
Actually, I don't. I think that there was a big short squeeze. I think the short squeeze could be reactivated, meaning it could happen again. But you know what? My travel trust on CVS. Larry Merlot did quite a good job this week when he was interviewed by Becky. I am a huge believer in CVS, even though it's been, Rite Aid's been better stock. But anyway, I kind of like it. What can I say? Look, if you want to speculate, as my friend David Tepper says, just do it wisely. Rentals, okay? Rentals, even by the hour. On Mad Money tonight, with the incoming Biden administration, could shifting attitudes on cannabis have some stocks in the space gearing up for growth? I'm going to sit down with the CEO of Trulieve to find out where it's headed. then it's a stock that's right for this moment and it's simply not getting its due. I'm changing that today. And it's a stock up 50% in the past month alone. Can the expansion of 5G continue to push Inseego higher? Why don't we talk with the top brass? Stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.